Hey guys, I am Caleb Giddings, aka Mr. Revolver, and today we're doing an unusual review of a gun that's not special, but because it's not special, it is special. This, right here, is the 10,000 round Taurus. Alright, let's go into some detail about this gun. What is it? It's a Taurus Model 82. If you don't know what the Taurus Model 82 is, it is a 6-shot 38 special. It has a fixed front sight and a gutter rear sight. From the factory, they tend to be regulated for 158 grain ammunition. So if you've got 158 grain lead round nose or semi-wad cutters laying around, it'll probably hit to the sights with this gun. It has a locking mechanism on the hammer. This is a safety feature for the South American market. You will see these sold to security companies and even law enforcement agencies in South America. I have a joke that I've told a lot that if you're in South America and a security guard points a revolver at you, there's a good chance it's one of these. So this is, that's the gun. Some other vital statistics, obviously 4-inch barrel. It has this matte black finish on it. The grip shape I actually really like, and we can talk about that. So do you see this grip shape right here? This little hump right here at the top acts almost like a proto beaver tail, so it helps me get my hand in a really good position high up on the gun so that when I'm actually driving it and shooting it fast, which I've shot this gun pretty fast, it helps. Other things I've done to this, I have wrapped the grip in goon tape, which is like hockey tape, except it's, for the Second Amendment community. What goon tape does, the advantage that it gives me is that it allows me to kind of move my hand around on the gun when I'm doing a speed reload, but it also absorbs moisture so that if my hands are sweaty or wet or something like that, they're going to stick to the gun better than they would if my hands were dry. Other than that, I can't really think of anything special or interesting about this gun. Oh, it takes K-frame speed loaders. So if you have Model 10 speed loaders, whether they're the Safariland Comp 2s or Comp 3s or the HKS Model 10s, it will work with this gun. And I know because I've used Comp 3s and Comp 2s almost exclusively with this for the whole time that I've had it. In terms of overall size, it's about the same size as an L frame or a Ruger GP100 to the point that it fits 1-to-1 in L-frame holsters. My competition holster over the last year and change has been an L-frame holster for this, and my carry holster, when I've actually carried the other one of these that I have, has been an L-frame holster as well. So that's kind of the vital statistics on this gun. There's not really a lot to talk about. It's a 4-inch 38 special plus P. That's it. That's the gun. That's the whole kit and caboodle. So what makes this gun interesting? What makes it special? Well, to explain that, I have to tell you a bit of a story, and the story actually starts like 10 plus years ago. So at the time, I was freelancing, living the life out on the grind, and I've always loved the idea of an affordable revolver that people can just buy, load, and then not worry about, right? So this was 2013, I want to say, maybe 2014. And I went and I bought one of the commercially available Model 82s that was out on the market from Taurus of that era, which we're going to, for the rest of this video, refer to as Bad Taurus. I bought one of those from Bad Taurus, and I took it apart, and it was a mess. The gun was bad. The internals were rough. The gun actually didn't time up so that when you went to fire it, I want to say 2 out of 6 cylinders would actually shave lead off the side of the forcing cone, and just, the gun was a piece of junk. And what I wanted was a good alternative for the police trade-in K-frames that were on the market that were starting to run $400 to $500, and obviously that's only gotten worse. And at the time, that gun was like $250 or something. So it was terrible, and it was, and I blasted it on my old website, and that was kind of that. So fast forward almost 10 years later, I start consulting with Taurus. And part of the reason I got brought in with Taurus was because the new CEO, Brett, who's now my boss, remembered the article, and he wanted to bring someone inside who he knew was going to have an uncritical and at times harsh opinion. So that article about the Model 82 helped get me hired at Taurus. So I took the job, and I've been working there, and I was like, I want to revisit this gun because I still love the idea of an affordable KL frame-ish, medium frame sized 38 special that you can just buy and load and stick in a sock drawer, right? It's a fire extinguisher gun. This is the gun for people who are never going to take a lick of training. So I did kind of the same thing. I actually went out and bought two from one of the online retailers because the first thing I wanted to do was avoid the accusation that I had like a special gun, right? Like that I'd combed through the facility in Bainbridge and picked one out and tuned it up and made it the cool gun. I didn't. I bought them from an online retailer, shipped them to an FFL dealer in my town, and picked them up. Now, I did one modification to both of these guns. I changed out the mainspring for a slightly lighter weight Wolf mainspring. That meant that I could only use certain domestic ammunition because it wouldn't crack other primers. But for me, that wasn't an issue because I primarily shoot federal anyways, and a lot of the other stuff is kind of in that federal family. So one modification to this gun. Then, what did I do with it? I took it to the range a lot. I'm going to show you some highlights of me shooting the gun throughout the year, still images, stuff like that. So let's just cut to the montage now.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So the end result of all of that is over the course of a little more than a year, this gun, this 38 Special, has fired 10,006 rounds. 10,006 is a lot. And I mean, the gun looks like shit now, So it's all fouled up here by the muzzle. It's got fouling. It's got drag marks. It looks like I towed it behind a truck for a while. And that's okay, because it cost $300 and change at retail. And again, 10,006 rounds. I shot this gun at the Pat Rogers Memorial Revolver Roundup twice. I shot it in, how many IDPA matches did I shoot it with? I don't know, 6 IDPA matches, we'll say. I won multiple state championships with it. I shot at the IDPA World Championship, where I was the fastest revolver shooter of all who was running a speed loader gun. I finished 4th, and the only people who beat me were running like highly modified 625s that load from moon clips and have like super pimped out action jobs and really nice sights. And again, I was running something that looks like it came out of an evidence locker, and that's the point of this gun. I shot this gun at Bianchi Cup. Shooting this at Bianchi Cup honestly was an exercise in frustration because these sights are not super great for super precise shooting. That's not to say it can't shoot good groups. I've shot some pretty good, sub 3-inch groups at 25 yards with it, but it's not really designed for that. It's not designed to be a high-speed competition revolver. It's not designed to do a lot of the things that I've done with it, but it did, and it did a really good job. Let's go through the list of mechanical failures that I've had with it. Around round number 8,000 and dry fire trigger press. I didn't even log the dry fire trigger presses on this gun because I shot 10,000 rounds through it. I assume I probably dry pressed it triple that at least. Around 8,000 rounds, the ejector rod started to come unscrewed a little bit, and you can see I got a little bit of wiggle in it. So the fix for that is you unscrew it, you clean it, you blue Loctite it, or some people use nail polish remover. You can also use Vibrotite. There's a bunch of other things. That is a thing that you need to do periodically. because when you shoot these guns fast, eventually that will unscrew again, right? So I should probably go in and vibratite that actually, but that's it. That's the only mechanical issue I had in 10,006 rounds. Dimensionally, it has retained the same dimensions as the other one. So I have another one of these. It's a 6-shot. It's the exact same gun, but it's only fired like 250 or something rounds. I use that as my carry gun. Currently, it's in my nightstand safe. It's my home defense gun along with a flashlight. That's what I'm betting my family's life on, is a Taurus 38 Special. It just, the gun's blown me away, right? I don't really get sentimental about guns, and I especially don't like to think that I'm sentimental about a gun that costs $300, and again, looks like it came out of an evidence locker, but I am sentimental about this gun. It's done a lot of really cool stuff. I ran it in Gabe White's class, and I am the only person ever to win a pin of any type running a revolver in Gabe White's class. I was 0.25 seconds away from a turbo pin with it. You know, it's just, it's the gun that actually made me a believer, right? So when I got hired by Taurus, I had already consulted with them. I'd shot the executive grade A56 a bunch. I'd actually shot the G3C a bunch, which I know, like, I unironically like the G3C. I really actually do. I unironically like the G3 line. But the gun that really got me to buy in was the 82, because it's made in Brazil, it's affordable, and it's just a tank. 10,000 rounds on this. You know how much 10,000 rounds of 38 Special is? 38 Special right now is running like 35 cents a round, and when I started this test, it was actually more expensive, but assuming that all the 38 I paid for was 35 cents a round, you do that math. So hang on, I'm not good at math, so there's what? 4 zeros in 10,000, so move it over. It's like $3,500 worth of ammo, if I did that math correctly in my head. It's 10 times the cost of the gun and then some just in ammunition. The gun's great. Like, I would, if you were, okay, so I'm gonna wrap this review up because it's going kind of long. Taurus Model 82, what's good about it? It is an absolute tank of a gun. It's built like a brick shit house. It'll eat 10,000 rounds of 38 Special ammo with no problems. I have no doubt in my mind that if I wanted to shoot another 10,000 rounds out of this gun, it would without any issues. It would just keep on ticking. I unequivocally recommend this gun if you want a 38 Special, a 6-shot 38 Special revolver that you can just load and throw in a sock drawer and not worry about it. Are the sights the best? No. You'll note that I painted the front sight orange so I could frickin' see it. It's not, you don't get a lot of contrast here with the black on black sight picture. So I painted the front sight orange. Does it have the best trigger pull of any revolver I've ever had? No. Again, all I've done on this is a spring change. So our trigger pull is about 8.5 pounds, maybe 8-ish. It's a pretty good trigger pull, all things considered. But, you know, it's never going to be as good as like a highly tuned Smith & Wesson trigger that, you know, you put a bunch of aftermarket parts in and a lightweight hammer and all of this nonsense. That's not what it's supposed to do. What it's supposed to do is reliably take 638 Special 158 grain projectiles and park them right behind the tip of the front sight, so long as you don't yank the trigger off the target. And it does that. It does that every time. It's done that 10,006 times. And again, I unequivocally love this gun. I have nothing bad to say about it. I mean, yeah, I wish the sights were nicer. That's really it. That's the one thing that, like, if I could change anything about this gun, here, I'll tell you the bad thing, all right? Because, you know, I work for Taurus. They pay my mortgage, so obviously that makes me a shill. But here's the bad thing about this gun, is that this sight is milled into the barrel. If I could change one thing about this gun, I would make this a dovetail cut and just put a fiber optic sight in there. You don't even need to change the rear sight. Because if you use a thin enough fiber optic sight, you can drift it left or right to control for your windage, and you can change the heights to control for elevation. That's it, you're done. The gun's freaking done if you do that. It would be, oh man, I gotta get the Brazilians to like listen to me. I'm like, hey, I know this product is super cheap and we don't want to add one more machining step to it, but if we had just one little machining step, it would be pretty awesome. I want to call it the Caleb Giddings Special Edition. But anyway, that's it. This is the Taurus Model 82. This one has 10,000 rounds on it. It survived abuse that a Manurin MR73 couldn't live up to. It survived abuse that would kill other guns, and it's the first, like, again, I had already shot the 856 executive grade and I liked it. I had shot the G3C and I really liked it, but this is the gun that really made me buy into the idea that I could rely on a Taurus for competition, for personal protection, and all of that, because this thing, it's just a regular ass gun that I bought on the internet, picked up at an FFL, and I did unspeakable things to. And if you don't like that, and if you don't think that's cool, I can't help you. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching.